Welcome to BigONE Weekly News Update. I'm Gavin. Despite a brief retreat in the final week of May, broader markets and digital assets demonstrated resilience. Bitcoin, BTC, fell by 3.7% to approximately $105,500, while Ethereum, ETH, dipped 0.9% to $2,540. Solana, SOL, led losses among major coins, sliding 10% to $157,000. In contrast, altcoins like LPT, MASK, and TRB bucked the trend, topping the week's gainers list. In traditional finance, May marked a robust comeback. The S&P 500 surged over 6% and the Nasdaq jumped more than 9%, recording their strongest single-month gains in 18 months. This rally was fueled by easing tariffs, moderating inflation, and upbeat corporate earnings. However, mounting uncertainty around U.S. trade policy tempered investor confidence, with U.S. Treasury bonds registering their first monthly decline in 2025. The dollar index continued its downward streak, posting 5 consecutive months of losses, its longest in 5 years. Bitcoin stood out as a beacon of strength, posting a 10% monthly gain in May, its best May performance on record. Trump's Trade War 2.0. Market jitters return. Trade-related tensions returned to the spotlight as U.S.-EU negotiations wavered. A key tariff policy was struck down by courts, and U.S.-China trade talks hit a stalemate. While investors have grown used to the so-called TACO, Trump always chicken out trade narrative, Trump continues to push for greater tariff powers. His moves to enshrine these in the Beautiful America Act, including controversial Section 899, signal that tariff risks remain elevated and could trigger further volatility. Crypto legislation gains serious momentum. In a major regulatory development, the U.S. Senate is expected to pass the Genius Act, guiding and national innovation for U.S. stablecoins, laying the foundation for standardized regulation of stablecoins. The House also proposed a Parallel Stable Act, aiming to establish a national registration regime to replace the current state-by-state crypto licensing patchwork. Meanwhile, bipartisan efforts introduced the Clarity Act on May 29th, aiming to clearly delineate responsibilities between the SEC and CFTC in digital asset regulation. This regulatory clarity is expected to foster innovation, particularly in payments and crypto infrastructure, making digital assets more accessible and usable for everyday consumers. Corporate crypto treasury strategies on the rise. Corporates continue integrating digital assets into their balance sheets. SharpLink, SBET, saw its stock skyrocket over 400% after unveiling a $425 million ETH investment plan. SOL Strategies filed an IPO prospectus in Canada, aiming to raise $1 billion for the Solana ecosystem. GameStop bought 4,110 BTC, $513 million, although its share price corrected post-announcement. Trump Media and Technology Group, DJT, is preparing a $2.5 billion raise, $1.5 billion in equity, and $1 billion in convertible bonds for future Bitcoin purchases. These moves represent a form of cross-market arbitrage, capitalizing on differences in liquidity, sentiment, and valuation to amplify shareholder value through crypto exposure. ETF flows and market structure. Schiff's new 13F filings for U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs show institutional shareholding declined from 29% to 25% in Q1 2025, primarily due to a slowdown in hedge fund basis trades. However, investment advisors increased their share from 10.8% to 12.4%. CME basis spreads compressed from over 11% in January to 6% by March, now rebounding to 9%. Solana's technical leap. Nasdaq on-chain. Vision advances. Solana introduced its new consensus protocol, Alpenglow, featuring revolutionary voter and rotor mechanisms that slash block confirmation times from 12.8 seconds to just 100-200 milliseconds. This upgrade is seen as a major step toward achieving its ambition of becoming the Nasdaq on-chain. Backed by exceptional engineering execution, Solana's technical evolution, spanning consensus upgrades, OpenGlow, client diversity, FireDancer, network enhancements, 00, and Layer 2 innovations, Soon and Magic Block, showcases its position at the forefront of blockchain performance. The week ahead, market movers to watch. June 3rd, U.S. ISM Manufacturing Index, Fed Chair Powell speaks. June 5th, ECB rate decision. June 6th, U.S. non-farm payrolls, earnings, highlight, GameStop. Markets enter June balancing renewed macro uncertainty with strengthening crypto regulatory clarity and corporate adoption trends. While trade tensions remain a source of volatility, momentum in stablecoin legislation, ETF evolution, and blockchain innovation may reinforce crypto's growing institutional legitimacy in the months ahead. Join BigONE today and take advantage of the growing cryptocurrency market.